This Week in South Baltimore.
Brought to you by
SouthBmore.com. All right, Kev, we are back at it here in 2021. Lots changed in not just South Baltimore, but the entire world. But happy to bring back the podcast here this week in South Baltimore for episode 1 here in 2021. And man, how you been doing? How's your new year going so far?
Going good. I'm living the dream. Let's got a lot of optimism for 2021, and I think with these vaccines rolling out, I think there's a true reason for optimism to get our small businesses up and running and get the economy moving and get back to normal. Hopefully go to an Orioles game this summer, or just get back to the daily life around South Baltimore. So I think we're seeing some optimism. We're obviously not out of the woods yet, but it seems like we're moving in the right direction.
That's right, man. And one thing for sure hasn't changed. I mean, the construction going on around here and the development going on around South Baltimore as you walk the neighborhood. I mean, it's just unbelievable what's been happening here. And I know you're going to fill us in on that, but first, I thought we'd talk about the big news of today. Here we are on Friday the 22nd. And, the mayor has finally lifted the rule that restaurants and bars can now pretty much, kind of open back up for, indoor and outdoor seating at a certain capacity. But that's just great news for our small business owners.
Yeah, this is something they really wanted. And, certainly, I talked to a lot of restaurant owners, and you obviously see them on social media. They felt like they were being singled out compared to a lot of other restaurants, and just quite frankly, when it comes down to it, many said they can't last if they can't be open for some sort of dining. So today, restaurants are reopening to a degree. They can have 25% indoor capacity. They can fill 50% of their outdoor seats. They'll be allowed to apply for parklet dining again, and obviously they've been open for carry out this entire time. So, if you're comfortable going out to eat, definitely go out and show your support to these businesses and their employees. But if not, please continue to support them through carry out drinks, through gift cards, through apparel. Really a tough time. You think about the last 6 weeks with dining shut down. They missed out on Ravens playoffs. I mean, Ravens playoffs are absolutely huge days for business. They missed out on that. They missed out on, the college football national championship and bowl games. They missed out on Christmas, holiday parties, all those things. So really it was tough timing, but, they're back open now. So, order as much as you can, tip well, and go ahead and support them. I'm actually really excited. I have a rare free night coming this Saturday, and me and my wife are actually looking into where in Anne Arundel or Baltimore County we would go out to eat. And then the news came that Baltimore would be opening back up. So now we'll just walk and go get something to eat somewhere. So very exciting. And hopefully this is the first step in getting back to normal and kind of rebuilding that vibrant scene of restaurants that we have in South Baltimore.
Yeah, I hear that. And you guys enjoy your date night. But now let's get into some of this development going on around here.
Yeah, this is really, as this pandemic's been going on, the one shining light of, local news and local economy has been development. Development has just continued hot and heavy around the area. But really, we've seen a lot of the residential projects that have really been the one that have been keeping the construction crews working during the heat of the pandemic. But now we're seeing, projects from all different uses that are really getting going now. And really, 3 major projects around the Middle Branch have really taken big steps forward in recent weeks. That being the huge project at Port Covington that's now back under construction. You have the redevelopment of the Westport waterfront that's moving along pretty quickly in the master plan stage. And then you have this Warner Street district, which is this new entertainment district, which is on Warner Street in between Horseshoe Casino Baltimore and M&T Bank Stadium. That's going to be exciting new entertainment-based development with all kinds of cool stuff. So that project kind of started construction recently as well. So really a lot of exciting news. So, just starting with Port Covington, major project. This will be a multi-decade project. Over $5 billion in capital will be spent on this project. It's over 230 acres. Port Covington is it was once a rail yard, and there's been efforts to redevelop it over the years, which have not been successful. But now, Kevin Plank and Goldman Sachs have teamed up. They bought up most of the land now. Now there's going to be this development, which they're calling, one of the largest urban redevelopment projects in the country. They bought the Baltimore Sun complex there, which only had one building on it. They bought the former Port Covington Shopping Center, which once had a Sam's Club and a Walmart and was supposed to have many other stores. Those never moved forward. They got some other properties on the west side of Hanover Street there. So really a big project here. And now it started construction last year and then went into a pause during COVID-19, and as they're waiting for their public financing to come through. But now they're back moving quickly. They have secured $650 million in financing. This includes $137 million in those tax increment financing bonds or TIFs. Those are kind of a source of public financing to pay for new infrastructure out of projects. So essentially those take the increased property values and they take the increase in the property tax. And instead of that going into the city coffers, that goes in to help build the new roads and parks and fiber and all kinds of infrastructure in this development. They also got two different bank loans, and then they also raised $150 million in Opportunity Zone funds. So Port Covington is in the Opportunity Zone. That was a thing in the recent tax law as a way to try to increase investment in areas that haven't gotten a lot of investment over the years. So Port Covington is an opportunity zone. So that project's moving forward pretty quickly. They have they're still working on the infrastructure down there, but they are about to start construction on 5 buildings. So these buildings will total 440,000 square feet of office space, 586,000 square feet of residential, which will be 537 housing units. This breaks down as 367 market rate residential units and 89 affordable dwelling units. There will also be 81 extended stay units. There's going to be 116,000 square feet of retail, more than 1,000 parking spaces, and 10 acres of public space. So this is that Chapter 1B of development of Port Covington. This project will go on for many years. So really, I mean, if you love, seeing construction trucks and cranes and all of that, that is going to be going on big time at Port Covington in the next few months. And it'll be cool because, I always get excited when I'm driving into DC. I just see so many cranes everywhere. Obviously, that's a economically strong city. So when you're driving on, 295 and especially I-95, when you drive past Port Covington and Sobo, on 95, you're just going to see the sea of cranes, and hopefully that'll be a sign to everybody on that corridor that Baltimore is rising. There's an exciting amount of investment going on here, and it's going to be one of the biggest construction sites we've probably seen in a long time. So very exciting, and they're projecting a couple of years from now that all these buildings will be open. So really, with what you have down there already is you have that Sagamore Spirit Distillery and Rice Street Tavern Restaurant. So then you add these 5 buildings that are bringing office and retail and hotel and different types of uses. There's going to be a public market called Rice Street Market. So once you add all those, you have a neighborhood all of a sudden. You have a destination. You have this new waterfront neighborhood with a great mix of uses. So really, Port Covington could be quite the place here in a couple of years. And that's really going to continue on for many years. I assume they're going to find different partnerships. Like they have a partnership they already have with Alexander Real Estate Equities. That's a California-based developer, where in addition to these 5 buildings, this company is marketing and trying to build a 170,000 square foot laboratory building. So this project is moving forward. Obviously, it was paused for a little bit, and obviously there was probably some reason for doubt about this project. It's such a big project, and obviously Baltimore's been let down so many times when it comes to big ideas and big investments, but this one is moving forward. So that's exciting to see. And one thing we did learn is the Gold Street Power Plant, which is really on the edge of those Port Covington properties. We did learn that Green Spring Realty Partners purchased that building, and they're currently working on demolishing portions of that old power plant. But we do now know that the Port Covington team does control the future of that property. So that That property will be part of this development. It's got a really cool old power plant building there, so we'll see if they're able to save that. Don't have a lot of additional information on that project, but certainly Port Covington is moving forward, and just another project that's really going to boost the Patapsco River and that middle branch portion of South Baltimore.
So Kev, I know that's amazing. I love hearing about all that development. I love hearing about, I mean, that's a massive amount of square footage that, they're looking to build for, between retail and, we could maybe get some cool, retail outlets, businesses here on this side of the harbor, which, I know Canton tends to get a lot of that kind of stuff over there because they have the space, but hopefully we would get some pretty cool retailers on this side of the harbor. Great to hear about all the residential buildings coming as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly at Port Covington, you'll get some things, when a new apartment building goes up, people don't tend to get that excited, but what you'll see at Port Covington is you'll likely see like some new event venues, which, obviously there's always a lot of weddings and corporate parties around here. Looks like they're trying hard to get either a grocery store or a big box store in one of those things. So obviously I've always heard the rallying cries for like a Target or a Trader Joe's or maybe like a Wegmans in this area. So maybe it's a possibility you'll see something like that. You'll likely maybe see another like music venue or something. So obviously, you'll get some of those things like office buildings and apartment buildings, which may not be that exciting to your average resident, but you will get some of those amenities that do get people excited. So certainly, I think there'll be a little bit for everybody at Port Covington, and certainly looking at Warner Street. Now this is something that'll probably get people really excited, as this would be an entertainment-based district. Obviously, you got your two incredible anchors there with the Ravens, and obviously just north of the Ravens, you have the Oriole Park at Camden Yards, home of the Orioles. But, when you have the Baltimore Ravens and their stadium topping the district, and then at the bottom you have Horseshoe Casino Baltimore, the Horseshoe ownership team of CBAC. They were able to purchase essentially every property along Warner Street there, other than the public storage building. And they're planning this entertainment-focused development. What we know so far is there's going to be a Topgolf going in there. That's going to be a 65,000 square foot building with a 6-acre driving range. I'll tell you, I get constant emails, constant messages, wanting updates on this Topgolf. Everybody that's been to a Topgolf seems to love it. Just a cool combination of a driving range where the balls have these chips where if you hit certain pods out in the driving range, you get a certain amount of points. You got servers bringing you drinks. It's almost like a combination of like high-end bowling and golf in one.
Oh, it's fun. It's so much fun. If you've never done one, it's a blast. I've done quite a few corporate work events at different Topgolfs around the country. So it's a huge thing that we're getting one. And I know a lot of people are going to love it.
Yeah. And as somebody with a family and a business, I'm more likely to find an hour to hit some golf balls around as opposed to finding 3 to 4 hours to hit a golf course. So certainly seems very fun. I mean, people are just so excited about this. So that actually kind of started construction this week. So the Topgolf project is in conjunction with another project where there's actually a park behind the casino garage, which is part of the Gwynns Falls Trail. So part of the project is they are cleaning up that park. They're getting rid of some of the Phragmites, which are kind of invasive plant species, which have grown there, and kind of made it where it kind of just feels like a woods back there. It doesn't feel like you're on this waterfront park where you can see, the highway and see water and see like cool ducks and birds. So that's going to get cleared up. They're really going to clear that out, a lot more open space there, a lot more views of the water, get that remediated with clean soil. So what has begun is they started bringing clean soil dredge from the harbor over to this site, and they're beginning to work on that park. And Executive Vice President of the BDC, Kim Clark, they've been working on this project as they were able to sell the former Barks to Topgolf and CBAC. So her update that she let me know is some work is starting to happen now, and really look to late March or early April when things will really ramp up, where you'll really see a big construction site there on Topgolf. They're going to work to get the former Barks and animal shelter and animal services building torn down. So really that'll be a big construction site that'll get going. This district will also have a hotel. We haven't seen any exact renderings or plans for that hotel yet. We know there's going to be additional retail, but one project we do know has been the designs have rolled out and some approvals have been in place is Paramount Baltimore. That'll be a large, 4,000 person plus music venue right there at the corner of Austin Street and Warner Street. So that'll be a big, cool building. So Topgolf is basically starting construction very soon. Paramount will be soon behind, and all of a sudden, right on Austin Street across from Raven Stadium, you'll see all this new development, and that'll develop hopefully quickly over the years, and you'll just get this really fun entertainment district close to Federal Hill, next to the stadiums, close to Pigtown, and hopefully it grows from there. Hopefully we'll see some of the momentum from this entertainment district kind of, drip its way down Austin Street into Pigtown. Maybe we'll see more development in some of those parking lots and industrial buildings along Austin Street there. But another exciting, and how does this relate to the Middle Branch? Well, this is the Ridgely's Cove in the Middle Branch, the most northern tip there of the Middle Branch, which is kind of, a lot of people probably know it's there because there's so many highway ramps and light rail bridges going on there, but it's actually kind of a pretty waterfront when you go back there. So another big project on the Middle Branch there.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, there's so many little nooks and crannies to this city in general, and of course our neighborhood as well, everywhere here in South Baltimore. But what about some other areas like Westport?
Yeah. So finally, looks like there's a really good, really concrete plan to redevelop the Westport waterfront. This is a 43-acre site that once had some different industrial buildings there. This site has seen a couple different ownerships, hopefully a third ownership soon. It was Pat Turner's Turner Development, had large plans for this parcel back in the mid to late 2000s. And unfortunately, with the crash of the real estate market, those plans dissolved. Then Kevin Plank's Plank Industries bought this property. And, they're obviously doing the big project at Port Covington, which is right across the Middle Branch. They're working on getting a walking bridge in between Westport and Port Covington. So his company held on to it for a few years, and now they've found a buyer in Stonewall Capital who wants to move forward on a very residential based kind of transit oriented development at this parcel. So Stonewall Capital, they want to build 275 garage townhomes and an affordable housing development with 300 multifamily units. They want to build 3 market rate apartment buildings that'll total 1,000 units with 40,000 square feet of commercial and retail space. And then they want to build an 100,000 square foot innovation center and office building. This development will have 11 acres of green and open space. And a big part of this will be a large park in the center of the development. This entire parcel is along the waterfront. When you're on that water, you look straight out to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Bridge. So really, really cool waterfront there. They plan on having a promenade and a bike path along the water. So really, this project could really be a nice complement to what's going on at Port Covington, where Port Covington will have a heavy focus on, apartment buildings and offices and things like that. And this will be a little bit more of a bedroom community that's really focused around housing. So Stonewall Capital is looking to break ground on this in the next 12 to 18 months. They have a partner lined up for the townhomes. They have a partner lined up for the affordable housing. In phase 1, they're also looking to build the first market rate apartment building with 350 units. That'll have 40,000 square feet of commercial and retail space. That'll face that new park. So yeah, that could get going pretty quickly, where if, really you look at 3 different parts in the Middle Branch, if you have that entertainment district going on at Ridgely's Cove, the northern part there, if you got Westport under construction on the western side of the Middle Branch, and if you have, Port Covington under construction on the northern side of the Middle Branch, and really could be a huge change for this, other harbor that Baltimore has over the next couple of years. But obviously it's all moving forward, and it's going to be a big change. And then obviously a big step there is, can you increase the recreation down there? Can the water quality continue to improve? They're going to put a water wheel at the Gwynns Falls, which is a huge source of trash dumping into the Middle Branch. There's a big stormwater and a waste treatment project going on currently in Baltimore that's working to fix all these sewage leaks that come into the harbor, which is really the top source of of reasons, you can't swim in the harbor. So really, there, if the middle branch can be a place that you could, go paddle boarding, swim, jet ski, those things. I know some people kind of do those things already, but a safer place to do that, it could really be a game changer for South Baltimore, and could have a nice spin-off effect to neighborhoods like Westport and Cherry Hill and Brooklyn and South Baltimore. So yeah, exciting to see all that development around the middle branch, and exciting to see it all happen at once.
I hear that. And what about some of the industrial areas? I mean, I still see a lot of development, not just in the neighborhoods, but the warehousing areas and distribution
Yeah.
centers.
Yeah, a little bit of industrial news. So in Curtis Bay, 3 large warehouses are going to be constructed by Skinnell Properties. They're an Indianapolis-based company, but they'll be building 522,675 square feet of warehouse space on 3 different buildings. This is also going to have 58,075 square feet of office space, and these properties are along Curtis Avenue and Curtis Bay. The properties they were able to purchase are 4501 Curtis Avenue and 1701 Ben Hill Avenue. So 3 large new warehouses that'll kind of be used to bring in, distribution facilities, some kind of warehousing. They don't currently have a tenant lined up. Certainly when you see something like this coming, you immediately think of like Amazon or FedEx, and both those companies have kind of really doubled down on Sparrows Point. But certainly a nice investment for Curtis Bay, and certainly these are the type of industrial blue collar type jobs which can be really beneficial to areas of South Baltimore, northern Anne Arundel County. So hopefully they get some really exciting uses in there with a lot of jobs. And then moving over to that Carroll-Camden industrial area, which is just west of the stadiums, just south of Pigtown, even though some blocks are kind of partially in Carroll-Camden and partially in Pigtown. So you have Gaslight Square. This is a multi-building complex that was once the home of Valspar Paints. This was sold for $3.87 million to Equity Warehouse. This is a local investment firm run by 2 local firefighters. They've been making some nice investments in the area, and they purchased this property. It's been partially renovated. They're going to finish the renovation there and look to get some more office tenants in there, maybe some cool manufacturing type uses in there. So that gets a nice investment. You have Sandtown Furniture Company, which makes some really cool tables and chairs and all kinds of things made of reclaimed wood, old trees. They bought this 32,000 square foot building, this historic building. They're going to build themselves a 24,000 square foot showroom and wood shop. And then they're going to use that extra space to bring in another tenant that has some kind of artisan use that fits in line with their business model. And then MindGrub, they're a digital agency that's based in Locust Point. They're constantly growing. They just purchased 8,000 square feet of office and warehouse space along Nanticoke Street and Cary Street. They're kind of partially in Pigtown, partially in Carroll-Camden industrial area. They're going to use that for some different uses, like their growing robotics business. They started a business where they renovate and restore cool old cars that can be used in movies. They do some apparel. They might bring in some food tenants there that can maybe open a cafe that opens along Nanticoke Street there. So, their owner, Todd Marks, told me that there's a chance they might look to buy more buildings in Pigtown and maybe bring a lot more aspects of their business over there. So really cool investments we're seeing in Carroll-Camden. I know that there's a couple other artisan type manufacturing uses that have not been announced yet, which will also be coming to the area. So really cool if you can take that industrial area. Obviously, Baltimore is a city that has a lot of heavy industry. So you want to keep that flourishing. We have a tremendous port, but if you can take an area like that and certainly mix in some breweries and some craft manufacturers and cool artisan uses and cool food concepts, you're really bringing a lot of life. So it looks like we're seeing some nice investment there. And obviously, if you live in Pigtown, you can walk to Carroll-Camden pretty easily. And even if you live in Federal Hill, Locust Point, it's an easy bike ride. So cool to see the investment there, and really a lot of investment all over South Baltimore. Seems like South Baltimore has done very well during this pandemic, as it seems like a lot of people, a lot of investors are looking for more affordable real estate in this kind of uncertain, more virtual time we're living in.
I hear you. And I just hope these, some of these businesses, which aren't many, unfortunately there had to be some changes, and some businesses, have not been able to stay open during COVID, but hopefully there is a spot for everyone to come back and certainly, shine bright again here with all the development and spaces that'll be open that are going to need to be filled. But that's awesome, Kev. I love hearing about all this, and I know our listeners are going to love hearing about all these updates. And it's been too long since we did this the last time. Again, this is our first podcast in 2021, and we're going to try to keep these rolling a little more frequently if we can. As you all know, life gets crazy and busy, and but this is a fun thing that we do, and we love doing it when we can. And Kev, anything else you want to round out the podcast with?
No, just keep an eye out. We're working on doing a podcast where we want to talk to some different restaurant owners, kind of get their perspective on everything they've been through over the last few months. And just certainly let us know if there's any topics or questions you want us to discuss on the podcast. And we're happy to be back on the airwaves here and covering everything in South Baltimore. I'm optimistic that things are going to start moving forward. And I've noticed there's a lot of new residents in South Baltimore. It seems like the real estate market's pretty hot. So hopefully once all these businesses are up and rolling, they'll have all these new customers.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome, Kev. Great to talk to you. And look forward to next time and even more developments going on around South Baltimore. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is southbmore.com and This Week in South Baltimore.
Cheers.
This Week in South Baltimore.
Brought to you by
southbmore.com.